Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined today by Mr. Jim Cross himself, host of In Off the Bench podcast and working with Jesus One Apparel. How are we doing, buddy?
Man, obviously, we just witnessed a tough game, but nonetheless, still blessed to be breathing. You know what I mean?
Yes, and we woke up vertically this morning instead of horizontally, as I like to say. Yeah, we just watched LSU drop their second game in a row, lose a series to Sacramento State. To say that it is concerning what is going on with LSU baseball Tigers right now would be an understatement. I've tried to be as positive as I can be about this team coming into today, and I'm still positive. I'm not giving up on the guys, but this is more than just baseballing. There seems to be a disconnect ever since the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the inconsistency. You get 15 runs Friday night, and you think you got it back on track, and then, the next 2 days happen, and I really don't know how to explain it because I've never seen a lineup this talented be so inconsistent. It'd be one thing if it's a one-off, but we're talking about 4 or 5 times now in the season.
I had somebody ask me earlier tonight, how many games has this LSU offense been consistent since McNeese? And I said, well, technically all of them because they've been consistently underperforming. But if you talk about successful, I would say Friday against Sacramento State when we saw the full potential of this offense. Just talking about LSU right now, what is your biggest worry right now, and what do you see could possibly be causing this inconsistency?
I mean, clearly, I believe it's mentally within the guys because they're going up and they're hacking at pitches that I'm not accustomed to seeing them. In the first couple weeks, I thought maybe they had been going all fall against guys who were throwing upper 90s, electric live arms, and then they were going against some of these arms that didn't really match what they had been going against. So I thought maybe it was an adjustment. You heard Derek Curry will talk about it, but now we're past that excuse. You've seen more than enough guys that aren't maybe throwing upper 90s and should be more prepared for these hitters. And they're swinging at bad pitches. They just look uncomfortable in the box. Once you get past Jake Brown and Derek Curriell, I was looking it up so I can make sure I had the stat right. So we're obviously batting as a team under 300. We now, after today, have dropped to 13th in the SEC in team batting average.
And it wasn't a good weekend for the SEC, period, as far as non-conference games going. Florida dropping 2. I know Vandy lost today. I think Arkansas may have dropped 1 or 2 this weekend. Like, you look up and the best teams in the conference aside from Texas is Missouri and Kentucky. It's an interesting time in the SEC right now. It's a really
I mean, Mississippi State has proven that they're
yes.
A worthy team. Only 2 losses coming to UCLA and Southern Miss. I'm one of the few believers from preseason to now in Texas A&M, and then you got, like you said, you got Georgia and some other teams lurking. You got Auburn, but it's very interesting. If you were to say confidently coming into the start of SEC play, who do you feel like is a top tier SEC team? And I feel like it's Texas and then the rest. You might throw Mississippi State in there, but outside of that, you don't feel confident with a lot of these teams. Arkansas is not nearly as good as I thought they would be, and there's somebody who's got the easiest SEC schedule coming into the year. So I thought, man, they're going to be in cruise control. Now, I don't know. They got Mississippi State this weekend as we talk about it. So it'll be real interesting to see what teams get in line and do what they're supposed to do going into this weekend.
So before the season started, I'm going to account for this statement, and I honestly truly believe this team has the opportunity to do this. Before the start of the season in a preview show, I said this could possibly be, and I believe it would be the year that LSU would, for the first time in its program history, win the SEC and a national championship, seeing that they have never done it. They're making me eat my words right now. I still believe in them, though. But just like you, before the season started, I can't find a reason not to believe in Texas A&M. Texas is Texas, and they're going to do what Texas does. I actually believe Tennessee would get better under Elander. Nothing against Tony V, but I thought he brought a little too much energy to that program.
But if you watch that team right now, they don't seem to have an identity. And for the good or the bad, that team over the last 5 years has had an identity and an arrogance about them. And right now they don't look like they're playing with any confidence at all. So, you almost wish you had it back. You see these guys and they don't look like they're excited to play baseball in Knoxville, which is crazy.
And I don't care what any LSU baseball fan says. If we didn't have Jay Johnson and say we hired John Doe from, 123 University and Tony V became available, you'd be dying to have him. I would. I love Tony V.
Absolutely.
To me, he was number 2 to Jay Johnson in the country as coaches.
The scary part is, what everybody thinks is the overall thing that's going to happen. He's going to do a few years in the MLB, probably not going to work out. Dave Van Horn's going to be coming to the end of his tenure, and he's going to go back to Arkansas where he started. And for me, as somebody who the only team I really like to hate on is Arkansas, that is the nightmare scenario for me, that if he can get to Arkansas and finally get the national championship. So hopefully that isn't the case. But you talked about who you picked to win the SEC. I never had LSU win. I had them finish in third, and it was solely just based on Arkansas and Texas and the way that their schedule laid out.
Yeah.
Like, Arkansas, for instance, they don't play LSU, Texas A&M, Vandy, Tennessee. Like, some of these teams obviously aren't panning out the way we thought, but I'm saying just preseason, 5 basically powerhouse teams were not on their schedule, which was just crazy to me.
Yeah. And somehow we're heading back to Duty Noble, and we don't go to Texas. Oh, we'll take it back. Texas doesn't come to us.
Right.
But other shows have.
But I'm excited that we have Ole Miss baseball back this year. As someone who lives closer to Oxford than anywhere else, they're so excited for that series. The fact that we didn't play it last year, and it was the first time in I forgot how many years it was, because of all the switching around and everything of the SEC, I just thought that was a disservice to have those two teams not playing each other. It's not a heavy rivalry, but it's two teams that respect each other and get excited when they play each other.
It's going to turn into a heavy rivalry. I think Lane Kiffin's going to have a say about that, but it's
look. Hey, I once watched Lane Kiffin throw a golf ball for the opening pitch and thought it was funny, and then I watched Tennessee the 2022 year melee them. So Lane needs to just tone it down.
He needs. And the funny thing is, I think he has toned it down, but I wonder if that rivalry will bleed over into the baseball rivalry. As long as it's civilized, it'll be fun.
Well, let me tell you something. Have you ever been to a game in Oxford?
I haven't. I haven't had.
I have a fun fact for you. This is what they think of LSU. After the national anthem ends, the student section still yells, "Go to hell, LSU," no matter who they're playing.
I love that, though. Like, you can. I hope the football rivalry drives a little bit more into baseball. I know they hate us. LSU's in that weird spot in baseball to where, unlike football, we are the powerhouse, and we get everybody's World Series, no matter who you are. I hope it bleeds over. I think it'll be fun. I think it could be a little more respectful on the baseball side than the football side.
Well, and that would be my hope, right? I do agree in the sense I do want it to build up a little more. But one of my favorite things about going to Ole Miss when LSU comes there is they typically don't act crazy like they would at a football game. So I do like Swayze being a very chill environment, but I agree with you. They got more reasons to hate us than they normally do. So it'll probably crank up a notch for sure.
And me and you talked about this, and I want to get this off the bat real quick for anybody who may not be fully accustomed to your content or have seen your content in passing, but they found me somehow for some reason. Jim is a LSU guy. If you go look at his content, you'll see other teams. You'll see him talk about other teams and pull for guys. He's an LSU guy. You can be a fan of guys. That don't get it twisted. You see what's behind him.
This week is interesting. On the books, we got Dax, from LSU, and then we got Braden Holcomb, who's the hottest dude on Vandy right now. So talking to Dax State and Braden Holcomb, got one of each guy. And I can tell you right now, just from everything his teammates have told me, I'm going to like Braden. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be rooting for Vandy over LSU, but I want to get his story. I want to talk ball. Dude's got 9 home runs. Let's talk.
It's the funniest thing. Like we talked about the other day, and I said, if what I think is going to happen happens, and Paul Skeens goes to New York Yankees, I grew up. My AL team's the Red Sox, but I was a Braves fan growing up. I'm gonna have to pull for the Yankees one day every 5 games, every one game every 5 days. You can love guys, and
Mhm.
there are guys in this league that you like. Just it's ridiculous. Who's that guy from Georgia a couple years ago who who was mashing?
Charlie Condon.
Charlie Condon. He's a Georgia guy, and I feel some type of way about Wes Johnson. I have my conspiracy theory on the exit from LSU. I'm not going to go there though, but Georgia and Charlie Condon, every time he's up the plate, my dude, send it.
So a perfect example of this. My favorite moment in my career has been getting to interview Joe Burrow during Super Bowl media day for the Bengals. And the question that I asked him that they ran on all the LSU sites was, I told him I was in Baton Rouge, and I said people were wearing Bengals jerseys around everywhere. And I asked him, what that meant to him, and he told a story that he heard about the basketball game and how everybody was tuned into their phone, not watching the basketball game, but they were watching this playoff game. And he heard the same things with Bengals jerseys. But the point of the story is, ain't nobody from Baton Rouge ever been Bengals fans, but Joe
No,
Burrow has that effect for you. You root for the Bengals to win.
half the people in New Orleans couldn't have told you where the Bengals played. So, but and I'm a kind of split off for a second. I've been saying it all week. I'm gonna say it again right now. Yeah, we've dropped 4 of our last 5, and the team is concerning. Like we did with Jordan Thompson and Braswell, wrap your arms around these guys because going online and talking about the players and making up bad nicknames and saying this and that about them, it's not going to help them. Do you want your team to succeed or do you want them to fail?
Mhm.
But
And I,
aside
and
from
I
that,
just missed. I got on for all of 5 minutes to see
you're
a
lucky.
tweet that bothered me from somebody who's actually. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but if they happen to read it or somebody tells them, that's fine. I don't care. But it's actually a reputable person, but it said that this team has zero leadership, and I dismissed that specifically from our guy Jake Brown,
Yeah.
Stanfield. Some guys. Just because they can't hit right now doesn't mean they don't have leadership. That's not synonymous.
And I'll own up to something I said after the ULL game, but this was pertaining to me. That was the worst game underneath Jay Johnson's program since he's been here because it looked like it lacked leadership.
Mhm.
That one game, but it's before then and to now, even tonight, you've seen that leadership ignite. You've seen the guys rally, and Jake Brown is one of them. And I've
The,
been
the
telling
reason
people
why I
all year.
believe in Jake Brown, you talked to Chance specifically. When Jake came in as a freshman, him and Milam, Milazzo took them under his wing, took them to specifically and a group of freshmen under wing, and basically told them that nothing was given, everything was going to be earned. That you got to earn those 3 letters on your chest. And from then on, Chance said Jake was following Alex's leadership, and Alex was as good as leader you'll ever find in LSU history. And
Yeah,
so I believe in what was passed on from Alex to Jake, and I believe that he's a guy. And like I said, I mentioned Stanfield hadn't been playing, so it may be harder right now. He's maybe not more of the vocal kind, but I think he's a guy, attitude and effort wise. When we get him back, I think he'll help bolster some things as well.
he's surely messed. And the guy I honestly look at, and we've talked about him. We have our nicknames about him. Because I'll be honest, Jake Brown, I do believe is an incredible leader, and he is a leader in that clubhouse. But I look at a guy like Gavin Guidry as that vocal guy who he's the pit bull in the clubhouse. He's gonna whenever you're doing great, he's gonna boost you up. When you're not giving it your all, you're gonna hear about it. And I have no, I the other night, who was it? Jason Armstrong, I believe, put out the tweet saying how many games will LSU win in the SEC, and I said 18 to 20. I still believe that. These games they matter, yes, but I think they're a free college education for coming into the SEC.
And there's the comparison to the 2024 team, right? This team is more talented than that. So I believe that, and that team really still could have gone to Omaha. I believe that there's more talent, so the opportunity is more than when you compare that. You can compare it in the sense of there's a lot of issues off the top, and and you have some worry. But I really feel like, they always talk about it, the cream eventually rises to the top. Like, I just can't foresee this team staying down like that. I just really can't.
No. And the people been throwing up the 24 comparison, and you dismissed the non-leadership takes. I dismissed those takes just for the pure fact of hearing Zach York on mic'd up talk about how when he got to town, he was like, "Oh, I'll hang up a couple of days. I'll meet the guys later." Then, like 10 minutes later, he gets a text from Jake Brown, says, "Come play pickleball." Like, a leader, like you talked about, saying, "No, you're not going to sit around and wait. You're with us. You're part of the family now. Come on, we got you." And watching that team in fall and spring scrimmages, they look together. They love one another. It's a rough spot. Maybe they're getting their losses out early. I'm okay with that, but I'm not giving up on this team by any means. And one thing I do love, especially about Jake Brown and Derek Curiel and many other guys on this team, is something I want to get to with you, is their faith. So me and you, I believe, kind of connected more off of our faith. I found you through the Jesus One stuff, and it's surprising to me talking to people around here that I know who are steeped in LSU baseball and steeped in LSU baseball media. They didn't know that they could buy that apparel, and I was surprised. They thought, "Oh, that's probably just something they had made." I'm like, no, you can buy the Jesus One apparel. It's I keep sending the link. Send the link. What brought you to working for Jesus One? And why is that connecting faith with college baseball so important to you?
So yeah, we set them up as a sponsor actually like a year ago, this past week, and through talking to the ownership and what their ministry was all about, specifically with athletics, and watching what had taken place with Ohio State football, and Travion Henderson and that group. It was something that I really wanted to be a part of. And it started with, I got Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and LSU all outfitted for shirts last year. And once we had done that, he said, "Hey, forget the ambassador thing. I'd like for you to come on and work for us, and be a part of the college ministries and setting up college athletic teams." And so it really just took off there. But what the great part was, when you set these teams up and you're talking to these athletes, seeing that it's not just wearing a shirt, that LSU specifically, for instance, as we talk about Jake Brown, they were having a Bible study every week amongst the guys, right? Hearing it with these other teams, hearing that they're getting together to pray, seeing that they're attending their FCAs at their colleges, all these different things, and then wearing the shirt and being bold, and proclaiming it. And it was really cool because nothing in the Bible promises that you're going to win a sporting event if you support Jesus, but Ohio State football was the first in football to wear them. They won a championship. LSU baseball was the first that we had set up in college baseball. They won a championship, and then Oklahoma gymnastics as well. So it was pretty cool. And then you can even double down because Indiana football wore them this year. So it's really cool to see the way God's working, because we had a guy on our show and we asked him his thought process. Name's Jason Smith. He beat writer for ESPN, and he said it's something about when these guys are playing for a higher power and not themselves, that they are able to enjoy and play more freely. Because when you know that you've already won, Jesus has won, it makes playing that much easier because the pressure's off. You've won in this life, win or lose on the ball field. So when you take that pressure off and you play more freely, it's amazing how things go. And yes, right now LSU's going through it. My advice would be, and you know me because I know them, I will be sending messages. They know where to go. They know to go to the word. They know to pray. That God is going to help them out of this rough patch. And even if it doesn't lead to a national championship, these guys have amazing futures ahead of them. And their identity isn't tied on whether they won a weekend series against Sacramento State. That's not the end all be all. And so it's just been really cool to see these athletes and really colleges across the nation, as they've had revivals, just start to be bold. In a generation where it's tough, right? Social media drives everything. You're sent all these different messages of what is right and what is wrong. You have this generation standing up and saying, "Hey, we're going to follow Christ and we're going to do what the Bible says, not what TikTok tells me, you know what I mean? So it's been really awesome.
The I want to hit on a couple of things you said there. First, I'm gonna do what I know you and I probably both hate hearing. Thank you for your service. But we shared that past, right?
Right.
And me and you had a discussion yesterday, and we kind of it's kind of it really blew my mind and touched my heart that our stories were kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking on playing freely on the field because you dedicated your life to Christ and you know there's a higher power, it's a higher thing you're playing for. I saw that whenever I decided to truly devote my life back to Christ fully. But like honestly, for the first time in my life, say, no. Everything is for you. I may have said it before. Like you said, they could have worn the shirt. They could have just made it an outward appearance of saying, yeah, I'm Christian and anything. But when you truly devote that to your life, it turns into that, like a bad analogy, Book of Eli movie where I'm going to go through life. I'm going to do what I think is right. I know I'm okay. Nothing else matters. He has me. I'm safe. And carrying on from that with why do you think in college baseball in particular is faith such a huge factor? Because like you were talking about with these guys with social media and because like I said today on a post, you're saying all these things about these guys. You don't think they see it? What are you
Right.
doing? And I see it, but it's funny whenever. So I've been doing this stuff for 10 seconds. I haven't been doing it at all for very long, but just transitioning my output to tweeting maybe once a month to tweeting every day, but everything I put in there says all glory to God. Praise him. My feed has gotten so much cleaner. I don't see the hate. I don't see and people are now like I see more people coming out saying thank you for like thank you, praise the Lord. And just so overwhelming. None of it's all love. I mean, I had an idiot tonight trying to say some stupid stuff. But why do you think faith in college baseball is so prevalent? Like what
I
drives
mean, to me, it's pretty simple. It really goes to the foundation of why I wasn't a baseball player. You have to be able to handle failure at a high rate. And then on top of that, you see the amount of pitchers going through injuries, or we talk about the transfer portal and, you know, ending up at schools where things just don't work out. And so, to use a guy like Seth Dardar, who LSU was
thinking
the
of
dream. LSU was the dream, right? Doesn't come calling, goes to Columbia, then goes to Kansas State, and he said he stayed faithful that an opportunity would come, and so you have something that's more simple like that, or you have a Gavin Guidry who last year's texted me literally in a dark place because here he was thinking he was fixing to start his season, and now the season's gone, and now he's got to figure out his identity, who he is, because he's got it wrapped up so much in being a pitcher, and he's got to realize that he's more than that. So I just think the struggles in the game of failure in baseball is why these guys rely on it. It's why I would, if I'm gonna call a guy that I want to see something from, sophomore or not, Derek Curiel last year played very freely, and his faith was so it was exposed to everyone who he was and why he played.
beautiful.
I would call him to bring that to the team and bring that to these guys, because you see it. He's still one of the couple guys that's still playing well. And I imagine because his mindset hasn't changed a little bit, share that mindset, because that is what we're called to do, right? Is in ministry. And so that's a bigger thing than anything for him to be there for his guys. And so I would say a guy like that, I would hope that he could pour his faith into them, because some guys may not have a stronger faith than others. We talk about they were in a Bible study last year, but how many new guys are on the team this year that maybe weren't acclimated to that? They haven't gotten into that lifestyle. So you want to see that. But to answer the overall question, like I said, I really just think it's the ups and the downs of the games. And we've had so many guys just come on and talk about the adversity they face. And if it wasn't for, having that faith in God, they don't know if they would even still be playing baseball.
Yeah, and when you think about adversity, the name of the game, baseball, is adversity. I mean, you hit 28 times out of 100, man, you're a Hall of Famer. It's a thing where you have to face failure and you have to accept it and kind of have that short memory of, okay, that's gone now. I got to move on. What's easier in life to do that with than with Christ? Whenever something goes bad, you take the lesson, you take your medicine, but you carry on knowing, okay, as long as I learn from my lessons and I change this, I'm okay.
And one of the things that makes baseball a better game. We talked about this, right? Me and you,
Mm.
like comparison between baseball and football, and there are things about football that are better than baseball, and vice
Yeah.
versa. One of the beautiful parts about baseball is a lot of times in football, you lose a game or two and your season is over.
Done.
Baseball, that is not the case. And so this is a long season where there is so much time to bounce back. We haven't even started conference play. And so the failure that's happening now, it's now the chance for them to figure out how they're going to respond. And this could be one of those stories that we end up telling, is one of the greatest triumphs where they,
Oh yeah.
let's take it a step further. Let's say, it doesn't go well at Vandy and it continues on and everybody says the most overrated team in history. And then they figure it out, the second or third week, and then it ends up being the greatest turnaround. You don't know what's going to happen with them, but baseball is such a long game. The interesting part that we haven't talked about yet is you have a team on the other side coming up this weekend that
Oh,
has lost 5 of 8 and reeling the same way and really for the
yeah.
exact same problems. Paul, they have a lineup that mashes, but not every day.
It's I don't see. That's the thing about, because I played baseball. I made the joke with you. I tell everybody. I've said it on here a million times. I bleed red, white, and blue. My blood cells are purple and gold, and my proteins are baseballs. Like I love baseball so much. My wife now loves baseball, but I wasn't gonna get you out of here without talking about that. I don't understand the feast or famine mentality right now. Like Saturday I could understand. Friday, a lot of first pitch fastball. They changed their approach to plate. They started attacking first pitch. Saturday, first pitch breaking ball. Okay. But it's been so consistent all year. I hope they pull it out. I hope they turn it around. It's going to be a event this weekend in Nashville with LSU coming to town, especially both of them reeling.
I mean,
And
the
I
thing
don't I
is,
don't
if you really want to take it by the numbers, like average wise, Vandy's better, but like they for what it's worth, they're mashing too. Like
yeah.
I think they're second behind Georgia in the SEC in home runs. Like I said, I mentioned Holcomb, Brody Johnson. Like there's some guys that our pitching staff's going to have to be on their game that regardless of how the team's playing, it's kind of like how we've been with Curriell and Brown, two guys still, batting with a high average, that you're not going to be able to mistakes. But I'll tell anybody this, if they want to know the truth of the matter, regardless of how these two teams are playing, you have literally one of the best pitching matchups of the entire season for any two teams. I had three guys.
Friday and Saturday.
I had 3 guys that I put on a graphic that were going to be my finalists for SEC player or SEC pitcher of the year. And Connor Fennell was one and Kason Evans was one. And both these guys have gotten better each week coming into this. Connor Fennell just came off 11 strikeout game.
Great.
Dude's changeup is, as I've had guys tell me, is just a frisbee that's just nasty. And so I think Friday night, especially with the way these bats may have already been struggling coming in, you may see an elite pitching duel that you want to buckle up for.
It is going to be must see TV this weekend on Friday. I'm excited. I'm nervous because I'm not looking past Creighton. College baseball, you don't look past Creighton.
You don't look past it. This is your game to get back right.
Yes.
This in any sport, you just have to get momentum back. And it can be as simple as that midweek game.
Oh, 100%.
That's why I was surprised by the second game of the series against Sacramento State, because the 15-4 felt like your get back right game. Like there's nobody. We talked about how negative social media was, but I saw the amount of reaction after 15-4, and everybody was assuming we were back.
See, this is the funny thing. And I know I can't keep you too much longer. I know you've had a long night, but people don't. So it's I keep some things to myself to kind of wait because I don't like being a troll, but sometimes it's fun. People forget about the '08 year when they won 20, was it 22 or 24 straight?
Mhm.
That team was the bottom feeder of the league. And they came back and won either 22 or 24 straight.
I
Now I
mean,
hope we
if
don't
you
get to
want to
that
go with
point.
non-LSU team, that Ole Miss team, just like LSU was ranked number one early all season, underachieved, couldn't figure out what's going on, and then they got right at the right time. It was actually I was there at the series. It was the LSU series where they decided they were going to wake up, swept them out. So like we've seen it before. Like it's just you just got to flip that switch. You just hope it's earlier than later, obviously.
Oh, 100%. So, two things before I let you go. One, all credit to Vanderbilt. Jake Brown would have 10 bombs if he played in that stadium. Two,
Well, I'm gonna defend Vandy on that because they hit a majority of their home runs in the first 2 weekends where they were not in Vanderbilt. So just because
so
there
it was a
were people saying
smaller
that.
bandbox.
So I was just kind of hey, like I told you, it's
I
man
got it.
off the
I'm
bench
joking.
guys who are at the top of that home run rack. Just gotta defend them a little bit.
It doesn't matter what ballpark you play in, it goes over the fence. It's a home run.
It's like I've had to defend Tennessee in the past. I've been to enough games there where people talk about how small it is, but when I'm watching Andrew Fisher or Blake Burke or whoever it is that year hit it 100
Yeah.
feet over the fence, it doesn't matter what ballpark we're talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Feet to the fire. Is LSU a Omaha team?
Yes.
I love to hear it, man. I love to hear it.
I thought you were going
Yeah.
to ask me a harder question than that.
Oh, now you
I
got to
thought
tell
you
me
were
what you
asking
thought.
feet to what?
Now you got to tell me what you thought my question was.
I thought you were going to ask me feet to the fire, LSU or Vanderbilt this weekend because right now I'd be lying. It would be really hard for me to look at you confidently and take LSU on the road against Vandy, regardless of the fact Vandy struggled, just because it's Sacramento State 2 games, like right, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet $1 on it. You know what I
See,
mean?
so another thing, so before this weekend, I looked at Sacramento State and I love coaches. I got Burtman behind me. I got Jay Johnson stuff all around me. Like, I love coaches. That Sacramento State coach has been there for 16 years. He has 24 Major League Baseball players drafted. One of them is Reese Hoskins. I know everyone's heard that name. Like he's produced great talent. So I never let the name on the jersey distract me from what
Mhm.
the talent is. Now,
It's I was going to
okay,
say, but when you get done with your story, do not let me forget to tell you my idea
no, go
with
ahead.
LSU. So I presented this I tagged ESPN and Peter Burns, and I was actually talking about it with some of big college baseball fans at my church this morning. And the idea I'm going to present to you, they actually said it was so good that that's probably why ESPN won't use it. But everybody's been pushing for wanting a college game day baseball version. And I said the opportunity is there. LSU at Mississippi State, Super Bulldog weekend. And for people who don't understand, Super Bulldog weekend is they have all the sports. They have the spring game. It's crazy. I've been there multiple times. They set the record against Ole Miss a couple years ago when they came to town, even when Mississippi State wasn't good that
Yeah.
year. Set the record 16,000, like 423, I think. And I am 100% confident because they have proclaimed they're going to do it already, that they're going to set the new SEC attendance record. LSU Mississippi State is one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry in the SEC. And you have the godfathers of baseball. You set up that game day and you bring on Skip and you bring on Ron Polk and you have them bring together the old and the new fans and you have the college game day experience that everyone deserves. And that would be electric. But like everybody's telling me, you can give them the best idea, they're probably still not going to do it because that game's even already scheduled to be on ESPN too.
So two things there. Whenever anybody brings up Mississippi State, let me get this out before I do that. I believe in Mississippi State personally. I don't think you can doubt them. My only apprehension in this year is the first year head coach.
Mm.
Just because you have to grow the program, you have to create that culture. Secondly, anytime somebody brings up Mississippi State and Skip Burton's around the conversation, Starkville, Indian translation for trailer park. Now, also your idea, I love it. See, you can tell I'm new to this because everything's like kind of like a dude on cocaine. It's like we don't need ESPN to do it.
Right. Well, so last year I was called by a certain company, presented the idea to be a part of, like, I wasn't going to be the front man type thing. They wanted me to interview players, bring them on the side, but they had the perfect idea for last year because it was going to be Texas A&M at Texas with Schloss, obviously had just left them. That would have been great. It did not fall through. And so I say that to tell you, over the last 5 years, I've had numerous people with a lot of sway say they were going to finally make something happen, and they didn't. I feel like it's either got to be, if it's not ESPN, the SEC network, but it's got to be somebody who has the media coverage to be able to push it.
Yeah, and so like this year, me and a couple guys that in the Baton Rouge area, they've been talking, and like David Billiot, I'm sure you've heard of his name, seen his stuff. My fault. That was me. What was the last thing you heard?
You just started that story.
So me and a few guys in the Baton Rouge area, like a guy like David Billiot, who you've probably seen him on X, doing a great job covering LSU this year. We're gonna do a pseudo game day experience in Baton Rouge at the box for the A&M LSU series this year, where we're gonna have a crawfish bowl there. We're gonna have a few other people there. We're gonna do like a pseudo game day thing there. I hear you tell me the story with Mississippi State LSU, and I'm like, I can't get skipped there. But do I need to bring a mic and a camera? Because I don't need anybody else to do that for me. I especially like, I think you could do that. I'm just saying.
There's definitely been a push. My favorite was the idea because me and Steven Scott are frenemies, we'll call it. They wanted us to go head to head on there anyway and debate and go back and forth. But no, I just had a text come through that I have to read to you all live on this air. So Chris Demuy, national championship pitcher from LSU.
He commented on my post today and caused a lot of trouble for me.
He said, "So glad Twitter didn't exist when we lost 28-2 to Alabama."
I remember that game. I remember that. Oh man. Like,
and that's the reality. I wasn't even a college athlete. I was just a high school athlete, but I got some moments that I don't like to remember myself that I would, man, if it was on social media for people to have and to bring back around. I mean, like an example, like I dropped the game-winning touchdown on senior night at home. And if there was a viral clip of that, I don't know how I'd be able to make it.
Man, I'll tell you my worst part ever. This was in high school. We're playing Central Private. At the time, that school was a powerhouse of high school baseball. I'm in the outfield. I'm in the right field. I played right field because I was slower than dirt, but I could throw it. Take it off the line, pick up mud ball. I go to throw it to third. It ended up at the chain link fence down the right field line somehow, some way. And that I wanted to crawl into a really, really dark, deep hole right when that happened. So I'm happy we had social media, but it was like MySpace and
right. Hey, who's in your top 8?
Who's it? Yeah. Who's in your, and that was, do you remember how like contentious that was?
I mean, it really was because you had friends who like really were figuring out who they were with you based upon how they were. Then you had your girlfriend in the mix. You had family members, like who goes where. Like, man, I don't need that kind of stress in my life. Like, I loved MySpace, but looking back, like, I'm glad I don't have to rank 8 people anymore and let them get mad at each other, and then or people who don't even make the 8.
Oh yeah, it was. Dude, he moved me down to 4. What happened? Like, I thought, did I do something?
Yeah,
My favorite
that
part
was
though
their
was
way
the
of letting you
music.
know you messed up.
I love the background and the music when you open somebody's page. That was cool to me. That was cool to me. But
I
yeah,
did want to I know we got off track of it.
yeah.
You know, on the back of the shirts, the cross is there and the John
Mhm.
16:33. And I wanted to quote the scripture that goes along with the whole Jesus one message, but it's
Please go ahead.
I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I overcome the world. That, like I said, that could be synonymous with anything, but you can use it to the very situation that LSU is going through. It talks
Yes.
about having peace and comfort, and it talks about you will have trouble, but obviously there's a greater picture. And so I would tell any LSU fan who may listen to us about this that we'll take it and actually, you know, respond like an adult. Like, this is not the end of the world. And, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy in life, whether it's, if it's not necessarily God, your family, whatever, you're living, you're breathing, you have the opportunity to do X, Y, and Z. Like, bro, LSU baseball losing is not the end all be all, because I'm going to tell you right now, these guys care, but they understand there's a bigger picture. They understand their identity is wrapped in it. And, you know, that neither should yours. Like, you're not even playing the game. Why are you so mad?
I always say this to people, and take Chris Demoy for example. He's not throwing chairs right now or taking a fungo bat to a cooler. He understands, and he is a national championship pitcher for LSU. Fans, emotional fans. At the end of the day, remember this: that is someone's son, that's someone's brother, that is someone's grandchild. I'm okay with saying the way this team is playing is concerning me. I get it. Yeah, like I can see the concern. You, I'm not going to sunshine pump anything, but I'm also not. I understand baseball enough to know that.
There's a difference between saying, hey, that was a terrible AB by somebody, or just saying they're trash.
Well, no, you can say. I'll say it's that's a bad AB.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
You can say that, but there's no reason to take it to a point where you're
or
tearing them down.
or make it nick. Like I'm not going to repeat the nicknames. I'm not going to repeat the things people are saying about people. Like someone said that. I'll say this. Someone said that LSU went to the bargain bin, the transfer portal, and they're paying for it. It's like,
Right.
shut up. That's somebody's children. Would you want, like, I have 2 boys. If they want to play baseball, they end up in LSU. My world just, I'm
Well, I'll tell you
take me,
this. I'll
father.
tell you this. The whole bargain bin. Here's the reason I have a problem with that. I know
Because
we've
it's
carried
stupid.
over, but I know of. I'll use a guy. Maybe I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to. Henry Ford still had to visit LSU and was a possibility. LSU was in Omaha. Henry visits Tennessee and ends up enjoying his visit, decides to sign there. It's the price you pay when everybody else is at home and you're playing for a championship. So when you are last to get a lot of these guys, remember that's part of winning the championship, because you're not out. Jay can't recruit and coach in Omaha, and so don't
He somehow
attack
still
him
does.
because he didn't get all the top guys. For him to be able to manage to get the class that he did, considering he went last, is crazy.
People act like everyone knew Paul Skeens was going to turn up throwing 102.
Look,
You
you can.
forget.
Let me tell you something. I tell people this all the time. You can go run the episode. I was Paul's first interview that he's ever had. He said on the show verbatim that the reason he chose LSU was because he pitched there for Air Force. So for anybody who wants to talk about why LSU got him, you can think whoever made the schedule and put Air Force on there, because the way I see it and the way he described it, if it was Duty Noble, he probably ends up at Mississippi State. But he pitched at LSU. He saw a full Alex box and said, hey, man, I could see myself playing here. And so that's why he ultimately in there. And so it just worked out. When we talk about it, it's a God thing, because he's somebody of faith too. Like that's just the way it laid out. And it worked out for us as LSU fans.
Now, I've kept you longer than I needed to. And tell your wife I apologize. But one last question, and I want to say one more thing before I let you go. Since you brought it up, who you got this weekend? I know you said it's hard, but who you got? You can be honest. And if you pick Vandy, don't come flood his mentions. This man's I love a baseball guy. You know a baseball. I'm wearing PF flyers. I'm a baseball guy. It's
I'm going to say LSU, and it's because it's maybe I have optimism, that necessarily I shouldn't have. That I had a couple days ago after we went. I feel like this team is more talented, and I feel like that. I wouldn't be surprised based upon what I told you that because I'm such a believer in Connor Fennell. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost game one at all. But I just on a weekend set, I feel like this team is going to find themselves. So I'm optimistic. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm going to take LSU not because I'm worried about anybody coming in my mentions. I just think they find a way.
I'm picking LSU because I believe in our starting rotation of the weekend. I don't think anybody has a better 1, 2, 3 on the weekend. Also, food for thought: the best this team has played has been on the road. So get ready this weekend, guys.
Which is just crazy within itself.
Yeah. Everybody, please. I know the vast majority you already do, but please go follow Jim at Producer IOTB on X. Is Producer IOTB on Instagram, or is it in off the bench?
It's Producer. You got it.
Okay. The Producer IOTB on Instagram as well. Go subscribe to In Off the Bench podcast on YouTube. And before I let you go, Jim, I know I've told you this yesterday. The man had me crying on the phone, guys. Thank you so much for bonding with me yesterday when we had our talk and sharing your testimony with me and allowing me to share mine. Thank you for any amount of help you've given me over my journey starting this. It's scary, especially standing here in front of a camera by yourself. It gets real lonely. But I cannot express how much having your support and your kind words has been to me. And I tell you right now, whether we talk tomorrow or we talk in 6 years, until the day I no longer draw breath, if you ever need something, you have my number. Call me. I'm right there. I cannot truly express to you how much I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everybody also show your faith. I know a lot of you who come watch me are strong believers in Christ and have strong faith. Express it. This is the only hat I wear now, Jim, because it says pray. I said, one day I said, I talked about the braces with you. I want to exude my faith somehow. Go get they're launching. Can I say that, Jim, or should I not? They're launching the Jesus one. The purple shirts are back. I think I complained to Jim enough about that when I saw the gold ones. I like the gold ones, but they're launching the purple ones. Go get your Jesus One shirts at Jesus One Apparel. There is a discount code that Jim did not tell me about before I made my order, but there is a discount code, and you can get, I think it's 10 or 20% off. Go to Jesus One Apparel.
It's IOTB 20.
IOTB 20. Go get 20% off your order. It's great apparel. Mine is coming in. I'm not wearing it because for some reason my order was shipped to Michigan today from Tennessee.
You like this USA one?
I got the blue one.
World Baseball Classic.
So short sleeve BP hoodies are the best hoodies ever invented. Anybody who disagrees can fight me.
This thing's comfortable. I put it on for the first time today, and I was like, I felt like I could go out there and swing something.
Oh, a buddy texted me today and says, I gotta go home and get a workout in. Jay may open tryouts. So I need to go be an Impact midseason acquirement. I went, buddy.
These may become a thing. Gardner Webb Baseball just got them, and they look so sweet. And I think these teams are going to see that they got those as opposed to just the shirts. And it may be the next thing making the rounds
now,
for sure.
Those in gold, fire. I'm just going to tell you that. Fire. Anyways, Jim, again, man, thank you so incredibly much.
I appreciate you.
Everybody go follow them. And until next time, guys, God loves you. And all he wants you to do is love him back. Stay safe, have fun, wrap your arms around this team, LSU Tigers, and every fan base in the country. Don't tear you guys down. Lift them up. Do what God wants you to do. God bless you all. Let's walk it off.